Exacerbating conflicts and instability in Sahelian nations like Sudan, Niger and Chad, and West Africa's Guinea, Mali and Burkina Faso prompted a congressional hearing by the U.S. Foreign Affairs Committee on Africa on December the 5th. The committee invited senior U.S. government officials to answer questions and provide a pathway to what it sees as a dire situation in the Sahel. John James, chair of the U.S. Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on Africa, questioned the U.S.'s commitment to bring in peace in Sudan, for example, citing funding to Ukraine to be more than 20 times the non-military assistance to Sudan.
Ukraine has a population of approximately 43.79 million people. Sudan has a population of approximately 45.66 million people. Yet the non-military assistance that has gone to Ukraine is $12.4 billion, and the humanitarian assistance to Sudan is $620 million. I've heard things like we need to do everything we possibly can. But what I see is you have almost identical population sizes, but 20 times the commitment financially to the people of Ukraine than the people in Sudan.
Molifi, Assistant Secretary at the U.S. Department of State Bureau of African Affairs, responded, saying the Sudanese people affirmed that the U.S. has been a true ally in trying to end the current turmoil.
My contacts with the Sudanese people tell me that they believe that we are the best friend to the nation. It is not Russia or China who showed up to try and help end this conflict. It was the United States. We are perceived to be disinterested and care about the civilians and care about the stability of the state. That is not the position of other partners in the international community. The strength we have is that they want to have a partnership with us and they want our help to resolve the conflict.
Celeste Walanda, Assistant Secretary of Defense for International Security Affairs at the U.S. Department of Defense, says extremist organizations are capitalizing on weak governments in the Sahel and are now approaching countries in the Gulf of Guinea.
In the short and medium term, we will support African-led counterterrorism operations to disrupt the most acute terrorist threats, with a particular emphasis on those targeting U.S. interests. In the long term, we will emphasize bilateral security assistance to African defense and security forces in order to build their own homegrown capacity to counter these threats without excessive external assistance.
Robert Jenkins is assistant to the administrator of the USAID's Bureau for Conflict Prevention and Stabilization. He says the donor agency is working to empower young people in the Sahel with the education and skills needed so they do not fall prey to extremist groups.
The U.S. has been the third largest contributor to the Global Partnership for Education, a multilateral organization providing education services in several countries across the Sahel. Peace and stability in the Sahel requires bringing peace and stability to Libya, which has served as a source of and destination for weapons and armed fighters.
The U.S. Foreign Affairs Committee on Africa says Russia is exploiting the instability within the Sahel via its paramilitary Wagner Group to make profits and score geopolitical influence. Meanwhile, the U.S. State Department is appealing to Congress to confirm much-needed ambassadors to the African Union, Nigeria, Niger, Somalia, Djibouti and Gabon. Ignatius Annor, VOA News, Washington.